They tried to contact me a couple days ago.
514.
Okay. So exactly how long is
So
this
this,
waiting list to get therapy?
um, when you say therapy, what kind of services do you mean? Are you meaning counseling or
Yeah,
case
I mean,
management
what other
or?
kind of therapies? How many different kind of therapies do you have?
It's just case management. We don't have counseling at this time. 51625,
Okay,
but we
so I
do
was
have
on a
case
waiting list
management.
for therapy, and now it no longer exists.
No, we have never had any kind of counseling available. That's available on occasion whenever we have interns, and we don't have interns right at the moment.
Oh well, then
But
they lied to
you
me.
were
They
on
told me that I was being placed. What was your name?
Stacy
So what am I on a waiting list for?
for case management.
Oh, okay. You'd have to prove that
So
someone is deliberately terrorizing someone and then depriving them of counseling and therapy and mental health treatment, and robbing someone of a support system, even at churches and all environments, even the support of having therapy. You'd have to prove something like that repeatedly happens, even to the degree of the police department coming to enforce a discharge on someone trying to get mental health treatment. That's not realistic. So now the therapy Gulf Bend, that mental health provider, don't offer therapy. Period. There's only case management. Is that what you want me to believe? Because there's I already talked to someone that had therapy there.
um, Kiana, whenever I met with you, we talked about case management, and you told me that you did want the wait list for case management. Um,
We're just deflecting on the fact that someone said that they already got therapy through you, and you're communicating with me. You don't offer it now, and I thought I was on a waiting list for therapy. But why would I be on a
yeah,
waiting list for case management? So
okay,
a
if you
mental
would
health
like us to
provider
take you
don't.
off of it, would you like me to take you off of this list since it's not the service that you want anymore?
Is this a mind game, ma'am? I feel like you're kind of like prank calling me. Because if I got signed up for a list, why would you threaten to take me off the list because you're being dishonest about services? Why would I have
I'm
to
not
repeatedly
threatening.
experience this?
Kiana, would you like to stay on the list or would you like me to take you off of the
Why would you
list?
think it changed? Your
It's just,
customer service is not appropriate. I've told you multiple different times that I used on this call that I wanted to update on the list and when would the counseling be available. Why would you expect that it to change because you were being dishonest about the counseling? Are you trying to control me and asking me if I want to stay on the list to control this conversation and enforce abuse on me?
okay. I'm just going to go through our questions, okay?
I don't know what's happening. What is this for? Because I thought it was for therapy. What are we going through the questions for? What services am I going to get?
All right. So as a reminder, you were receiving therapy at Midcoast. And we talked about how you were getting therapy at Midcoast. And the support that we have here is called case management.
So I talked to
and
you.
You had declined the wait list, and then you wanted the wait list, so you were
I
placed on
talked
the
to
wait
you.
list.
Okay, so you're telling me the services that I wanted. You're telling
I'm
me
just
that I did
reading
not want
back what you
therapy.
had
Is that
said.
correct? And I'm on the phone telling
No,
you that
you
I
never
wanted
said
therapy.
that. You had said that you were receiving counseling through Midcoast.
Okay, so let me
and
make
I
sure
said
I
the
have clarity.
service-
You're demanding and telling me that I don't want therapy. You're telling me that. And I'm telling you I do.
Not at all. I think you really do want therapy, for sure.
Okay, so I'm not quite certain on why you said that.
All along.
I'm not quite.
I'm just saying we don't have that service here. We have case management here, and that's what you're on the waiting list for. And would you like to proceed with the phone call, or would you
No,
not like
Mid-Coast
to?
was sabotaging therapy. I'm just
Say
trying
that
to
again?
prove Mid-Coast was sabotaging therapy. 3 people canceled on me to not get the charge of conspiracy to violate rights. So they kept canceling appointments and scheming to not give me therapy. So since it's a felony charge, people have to scam and be dishonest and pathologically lie to get this done and not get accountability for their actions. They don't want the charges, but they want whatever incentive they're getting for their misconduct. They want their cake and to eat it too. So to pull this off, you have to strategize on how you're going to pull this off and not get accountability for your actions. So Midco scammed to deprive me of assistance, and even at these bizarre support groups I went to where we were doing crafts, I was one of the few people that went. And we were repeatedly doing crafts at support groups, but I experienced peculiar things like this all the time. You'd have to see it to believe it. I didn't really want to attend because we weren't talking about domestic violence. We were doing crafts and but things that had nothing to do about domestic abuse or empowerment. But this is a repeated pattern. Some domestic violence
Okay.
organizations that I had affiliation with actually shut down their programs. They said someone was off
Oh,
sick or something like that. It was bizarre. The few ones that I was able to get in. But so you're saying this is a mental health provider, and you don't have any kind of direction on how to get counseling or therapy?
um, okay, Kiana, what is your chief complaint related to mental health?
I feel
Within the
like this
last
is just
month,
a call for
what have
to
you struggled?
antagonize. I feel like this is a form of prank calls that I've had to endure. That I'm trying to build up a pattern, evidence of my experiences. I think this is a deliberate mind game to taunt and violate to get nowhere that someone's been able to get away with years. I don't think that this call had an intention of a solution. I think it was a deliberate problem that someone wanted to taunt and throw in my face. So I'm not quite certain if you provide mental health treatment on what to how to combat the you depriving me of it.
Okay, so are you struggling with sleep, appetite?
I just simply wanted to have therapy for being violated. I'm robbed of all support systems. I did my this church lady the other day. I told her about my experience, and she offered pads and feminine hygiene products. I endure all these mind games, and these multiple different people in my environment act peculiar, like they're controlled. Some they know police officers, they have affiliation with people, but they won't up any information. I've seen these churches and other people reach out and help others and exclude me from services they're giving other people. That's traumatic.
Have you received any treatment for mental health in the last
I'm
month?
just not really. We've already went over this. I'm not quite sure of the relevancy when I'm requesting. This is. Are you aware that this is psychologically abusive? And I asked you if there's any resources, and then you're deflecting, and then you ask me if I've had mental health treatment. You already told me that expressed to you what happened at Mid Coast, and you are deflecting on the fact that I told you it's being sabotaged and people are racking up felonies. With asking me a question that I just answered. The bottom line is that I asked you if there's any resources for therapy at a mental health provider, and I wanted clarity on
Okay.
why you were denying me of assistance and why they were playing games with records. Is why they altered
Okay.
records on
So
what this hospital said, saying that I had psychosis because I'm not really being violated by the government. And the false arrest, all that was in, she read to me in the documentation, but when I got my records, it altered. And then another doctor there was trying to set me up when this court forced me to get mental health treatment to not get charges for my arrest reporting death threats. So when they got caught in
okay.
lies, multiple different parties got caught in lies, including whatever doctor that was that I saw there. And I don't know how they altered records, but they were acting peculiar when I said, "Why did the records change?" They gave me 15 records. I'm asking for the mental health records. They gave me like 15 pages, and 14 pages was like medical records. And if it's a mental health, location, how did they get medical? Nonetheless, they gave me 14 pages of medical and 1 page of mental health that had nothing to do with why I wanted the record. But this has been a pattern that has followed me. It's too many people committing crimes, altering documents, committing fraud, and not being held accountable for felony. Ma'am, if the
So
pattern keeps repeating itself like it is, I think that you just called to taunt and violate and had no intention of ever giving me services. So I'm
okay.
not.
So if you want counseling services in the community, you could always try SPCH Stitch. They're free of charge, and you could always reach out to them and see if they have availabilities.
I'm just not quite certain if
SPCH.
someone else got set up for a therapist there and had a counselor. Why are you refusing to do it for me as well as every other environment I go to? There's con at mental hospitals that they don't offer therapy. So I
Well, there
don't know
is
what to
this,
do if people
and you could,
pathologically lie to me and keep me from therapy, and let people degrade me, violate, torture me in these environments. I just, it's pointless. Ma'am, if you are refusing to give me the therapy I've been on the waiting list for, and since it's probably time for me to come up, well, you got a con to keep me from that. So the con is now that ghost men don't have any access to a therapist or a counselor. That's new to me.
okay,
I've never been
with,
told that. They told me I had to be on a waiting list for it, but I've had peculiar experiences like this. When it's time for like
yeah,
when I had came up for the housing in Fort Worth, people got their housing in their apartments now. They scammed to put me off property because they didn't want me to have housing. They did it at two different Salvation Army locations and multiple different others. I'm just trying to establish a pattern, man. Okay, you called to deny services.
no, I just wanted to follow up with you on the wait list.
So, what does the case management consist of?
Case management is where, we'll do a monthly check-in, and whenever we, get to you on the list and we're able to make get people off the list, it would be,
I think
had
that there's a
explained.
disconnect. I think that I feel like it's a mind game. I did
Okay,
express upon you that was psychologically abusive if I asked you a question and you tried to evade the question.
okay, well,
I
I'm
don't understand why you would have
answering
an
you.
interest in doing that. But once
Case
again, are you
management is
depriving me of the
where
right
your
to know what
assignment.
the case management consists of? And you call me to verify the counseling disappeared. Are you denying me the right to know what case management consists of?
I'm trying to explain it to you. So you get assigned a case manager
I'm
who
just what is
will,
I understand how the you get assigned a case manager. I understand that, but what does the case manager? Can you elaborate on their job duties? The case manager.
Tiana, I'm trying, okay? Just give me a couple seconds. I promise I'm going to explain it. A
Well,
case
people do this
manager
all the
will be
time, ma'am, and it's mind games. But if you must, go ahead. We'll do it your
a
way.
case manager. A case manager will be assigned to you, and they can either come out to your home or you can come out to Gulf Bend. Basically, you meet up and you go over what your needs are, and you can work on coping skills. They can connect you with resources in the community. It's really like an advocate, someone on your side. Um, so the big thing is coping skills and connection to resources.
No, my case
And like
managers
an
have called
advocate.
me when I was out and about. I think that I'll see how it goes. But all the case managers I have had has called me and started arguments when my abuser was mad, even on their day off, and demanded things back that they gave me. So my case
Okay,
managers used to taunt and violate and start arguments. They were more like flying monkeys, all of them. So I had to start
okay,
recording their misconduct, how I talked to them about abuse. They start an argument and walk off while I was talking, and then tell me horrible mistreatment is delusions. Have police call one of them out on blatant lies. I wasn't even at home. Telling the lady I had a mental health crisis. The con was the police called her out. The police shouldn't even known who she was. That's clear cut stalking and criminal activity. I'm trying to do a police report some kind of way in their con. The police department has came out to my called her out and should know that I even knew this lady. It called her out to help conceal their crimes. That's how my case managers are. They're abusers. But we'll see how it goes, man. See how many patterns equal in the rest.
okay. So Kiana, would you like to stay on the list? Yes or no?
I thought I already established that. I said, okay, we'll see how it goes.
So
But if
okay,
you're
I
if
just
you're
wanted to
starting
verify.
arguments and I haven't even got the case management and you call to, I got signed up for counseling and you're playing mind games, how would it be if I got the case manager? If I haven't even got the case manager yet and there's already mind games.
Okay, well that's awesome that you want to stay on the wait list, and in about a month you'll get another phone call to check in on you. Okay?
Okay, so how long should I expect this wait list to be?
There is absolutely no way of being able to tell. I don't have control over that.
Okay, let me make sure I understand. So to get services there's no you promise there's no conspiracy to violate my rights because that would be a felony charge. But there's a waiting list. and there's no ability. You have no ability to know how this peculiar waiting list, how long I will be on it. So we'll do a monthly check-in to see when can get services that I haven't got in 10 years. Okay, ma'am.
There will be a monthly follow-up call, okay?
Okay. I don't
Okay,
have rights,
thank you,
ma'am.
Fiona.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.